Hello, today I'm going to be teaching you how to wind a bobbin and thread a Juki industrial machine in the FFM classroom. So we're going to start off with winding the bobbin. So the bobbin is what I just showed you. That's going to be holding your thread from the bottom. So either way, when you thread the machine or thread the machine to wind a bobbin, you're going to put the thread firstly through this hole that's located above the actual sewing machine. It's just so your thread gets fed through the machine carefully and it doesn't tangle. So you're going to pull that through that first hole, and you're going to then bring it down to the part of the machine that's used exclusively to wind the bobbin. So you're going to see this tension disc right here, and you're going to put the thread in that little slot in between the two discs. You can kind of see it here in between there. So you're going to take your thread, you're going to loop it around the discs fully one time. So I will demonstrate right here, pulling it around one time fully. So after that, you're going to find a hole in that little part of the tension disc that's right above the actual disc. There's a little hole right there, and you're going to feed your thread through that hole. Another part of making sure your thread is just not tangled. So then you're going to get your actual bobbin, and you're going to put it like so onto that little sort of holder cylinder case for the bobbin. You're going to wrap it around the thread. You're going to wrap around a few times around the bobbin to make sure it's secure, and you're going to pull it through one of the holes to make sure it is completely secure and it won't come out of the bobbin. You also don't completely need to do this step, as it also works whether you put it in the hole or not of the bobbin. Just make sure you hold on really tight if you don't put it in the hole of the bobbin. You're then going to press that part of the machine forward. It's going to make a clicking sound, you just heard it. And make sure it makes that clicking sound before you start winding. Then you're going to press on the presser foot like you would normally sew, and it's going to start winding your bobbin. And slowly and surely you'll see that your bobbin gradually has more and more thread encased into it. Then when you're done, you're going to just take it off. You're going to pull it back, take it off, and then you have a winded bobbin. Now I'm going to show you how to thread the actual machine for use and not for the bobbin. So just like last time in the bobbin winding portion of the video, you're going to put it through the hole, same hole that's located on top in the panel. So from the thread spool, you put it through the hole, and then you will actually bring it towards the machine. So the first thing you'll see is that you're going to loop it around once in the tension disc located on the machine, and then pull it through the hole directly below the tension disc. So after you pull that through, you're going to then go to the part of the machine that has a set of 3 holes, and you're going to put the thread through the first hole right to left, and then you're going to put the thread through the 3rd hole left to right. You're going to pull the thread down until you see the tension disc at the bottom of the machine, and you're going to do the same thing as you've done with the other tension discs. Loop it around once, and then make sure that the thread is put snugly in that little metal hook that you see directly above it. Now you're going to put the thread through this hole that you'll find that goes up and down with the machine. So through that hole on that sort of rod, and make sure that your thread doesn't get tangled while you're doing this, because it could lead to issues when you're actually sewing. So then there will be a metal hook directly below that rod, and you're going to hook it on to there. You're going to hook it on to a part of the machine that's a little lower towards the actual needle. So there will be a hook there that you have to put the thread inside of. You can get a better look at it here. But then after you put it through the hook in the lower part of the machine, you're going to put it through the hole of the piece of the machine that's holding the needle itself. And after you put it through that hole, then you're ready to put the thread in from left to right. So for reference, you're going to be threading it towards the machine, away from you, but towards the machine. And also it helps to note that it's the part of the needle that is completely cylindrical, not the part of the needle that has a little dip in it. You're going to be putting the thread through the part of the needle that's completely cylindrical. Once you've got it, you can pull it right on through, and I like to have a significant tail of thread so that once I start sewing, it doesn't want to come back up through the eye of the needle. And then put it underneath the foot, and you're set. Now you have a winded bobbin and you have a bobbin case, but what do you do with the bobbin case? Well, here's where I will show you how to put the bobbin in the bobbin case. So you just kind of slide it in like so, and then with the tail of the thread, you're going to make sure that goes through that little slit in the bobbin case, and make sure it pulls all the way through to that little hole right there on the bobbin case. So just keep sliding it on through until it goes to the little hole, and you can pull it through. You can make sure the bobbin's spinning easily, because that will be your bottom thread that will keep your fabric secure. Now what you're going to do is open up the slot, that little slot on the machine itself, and under there is where your bobbin, now inside the bobbin case, is going to go. So make sure it just makes a clicking noise. That'll let you know that it's secure and you're ready. So now you can sew a seam. Make sure the tension, which is right here, the tension is between 2 and 3. I like to put it at 2.5. That's the normal standard for the thread tension. And what you can do is take 2 pieces of fabric, and you're going to put it underneath the foot. You can then turn on the machine. I have it on already, but make sure to turn it on. You'll hear the motor running when it's on, so that's how you'll know. And then all you have to do is slide the fabric on through, and then you will have the beginnings of a seam. So see, all you had to do was kind of let the fabric and the machine work together, let the machine pull the fabric through, cut the tail end off of the seam, and there you go. You have a seam. So now you know how to sew 2 pieces of fabric together. And that's about it. Good job.